Hello, everybody. My name's Sean, and I am the CEO and founder of Mercato. And today we have a very special guest. It's Sanjay Vadera, the CEO of the fragrance shop. I'd love to start this off with just a little bit of an intro from your perspective. So, have you become Sanjay Vadera?
I got involved in the fragrance shop from my distribution business, Percent. Percent was the first business that I started straight from university in 1990. I was an investor with a couple of other investors at the time, one of the founders as well, and we bought it back from a fashion chain. And I took over the business 100% around 2008. So a couple of years down the line. So I've been CEO since sort of 2006, 7 at the fragrance shop.
Am I right in thinking you have over 200 stores?
Yeah, just around 200 now, yeah.
Around the UK. And I think you've probably got the best perception and thought process on how COVID has impacted retail stores. So, how has it been going for you?
Yes, it impacted us massively because pre-COVID, 80% of our sales were still bricks and mortar. And fragrance is still a sensory product and quite an impulsive purchase, and that interaction is quite important as part of the process. When you're discovering new fragrances. So I still think it's quite important to have physical presence within our sort of sector.
So obviously you can't plan that sort of thing. I can't imagine anyone having the ability to plan something like that. But where it really does lie is the ability to innovate off the back of that. As you deal with a sensory product, like what sort of innovations that have you tried to create, and how have you tried to navigate this and move everything online?
We've done something called Try It First now for about 3 years, which is where you buy the product, we'll send you a sample with it. You try the sample before you open the bottle. If you like the sample, you keep the bottle, and that's fine. Customers are very happy. To be fair, we get hardly any returns when people are doing Try It First back. So it seems to work, and it gives the customer the guarantee that they can return it, so they've not got a wasted product. And the other thing was we created a concept called Scent Addict about a couple of years ago as well, which is a subscription service by the fragrance shop, where a customer who necessarily can't get to the stores, want to try a fragrance, but doesn't want to spend 50 to 100 pounds on the 50 ml or the 100 ml because it's quite an outlay, right? Especially if you don't know if it's going to be something you really like. And Scent Addict's about discovering a fragrance and keeping with it. We send you an 8 ml version of it, but you can try different fragrances every month, or you can try the same one for a couple of months or 3 months, or try different ones. And the one that you do like, you can then redeem the £12 against the larger size. So it's another way of discovering fragrances.
With these products and services that obviously you've built prior to it as just part of your continuous innovation cycles. So have you seen, obviously, the shift to sales online? Have you seen that these services have been really popular as well with the take up and managed?
Yeah, they've massively increased the Try It First and Scent Addict. Obviously, at the beginning, when the announcement was made and people weren't sure about whether they got their jobs, there was a few cancellations because people just cut out things that are going out of the bank account. But then we started getting the uplift again from sort of around May onwards. So people start feeling better about being able to spend again. And so overall, yeah, we've had a massive spike. But on the online side of the business, so once the stores were closed, obviously it took over as the only channel, and we were up probably close to 300% over the lockdown period. So it was like doing Black Friday week every day, more or less, for a period of time, because the customers did switch to online. So it did make a big difference.
And I know you have a huge eye on like the infrastructure that supports both businesses. So obviously you were ready for a Black Friday peak, but sustained over a period of time. How did your systems hold up?
They were totally fine. Yeah, luckily they were fine. So it was a good test to see, because we re-platformed end of last year. I think I may have mentioned to you in the past, and our development team in India, have been excellent at being on hand if there was any slight issues. But we didn't have any, even if there was a slight niggle on the site, maximum it would be down for is like a minute or 2 minutes. But there was no impact at all from a trading point of view. So touch wood. But we're making all the precautions now, obviously, for Black Friday, obviously, because the footfall you get, obviously, just on that one day is just enormous. Nobody knows how that's going to change this year, but in essence, we believe it will still attract. It just does. It's just people obviously want to shop on Black Friday, and online's the best place for them to go.
I think it's only fair to predict that the future is going to move more and more with online, and hopefully, as we've spoken in the past, of a mixed kind of reality of online and physical to both get the customer service element and the personal element of purchasing such a personal sort of product. So how do you see it going? What's the future of retail look like? What's the future of e-retail look like? Yeah,
I think that crystal ball effect situation. I think everybody knows that physical stores are having major issues if you've got too many stores out there, if you're overexpanded, or if you've got too much square footage. From cost point of view, it's just not workable anymore. Just because the customer footfall isn't like it used to be. The customer has a choice of being able to buy under different channels through online, and you can see that shift obviously moving to more of the convenience and the way the shopper wants to buy their products. So I think that there has to be that shift into turnover rents, and it needs to be more of an equitable relationship between the landlord and the tenant. And I think that's the process that most retailers are going through right now. It's not easy for the landlords as well. It's a big shift for them to make, because obviously they've got large institutions invested, large borrowings on the back of this. So I'm not suggesting that it's not painful for them. It's painful for both sides, and I think it's a shift that has to happen if physical retail is to survive. I do still think that human retail experience, interaction-wise, is not going to get replaced 100% by online. I do think that you can create great brand experiences, and the whole touch and feel factor obviously is still quite important in any buying process.
And that's where I share that same thought process. As I think physical retail is going to be here forever. It's not going to be removed. I think there may be a more integrated route to digital. That touch and feel, you can't replace that online. Honestly, I think that so much, especially with gift related sort of presents and something so personal for your own scent. It's just what is the model to get people into the stores, not just for a purchasing experience, like to get them in for that pure experience. It's just
and I think it's going to be more like you suggested there. I think there's going to be a lot more digital interaction experiences in stores, and the actual physical aspect of it, the customer will have a choice, and it could be that the product just gets shipped to you 90 minutes, 24 hours, depending on your delivery requirements. And you don't want to have to carry the bag around with you shopping wise, and you can go, straight to a lunch or a coffee and not worry about leaving your shopping anywhere. So I do think that shift is going to happen. And I think customers will feel a lot more comfortable in the future, not having to carry around their products and shopping bags, and being confident that it'll arrive in the morning or within 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the same beliefs there, mate. Okay, great. I think we're about to hit the 10-minute limit. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. It's a genuine honour. I've obviously, since I've met you the first time, I've been looking up to how you run your businesses and the decisions you make. So yeah, it's great to be sharing this.
It's a total pleasure, Sean. It's great being on here. Thanks for asking me.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.